Hi everybody, welcome to yet another episode of the Social Blueprint, where it is our mission to bring social cohesiveness to the community. Friends, the late great Rabbi Jonathan Sacks had a saying that you can judge a society by how it takes care of its most vulnerable people. Does it throw them under the bus, or does it help lift them up? And that's why I'm excited today to be joined by Dr. Mark Cherny and Andrew Blode, because the two of them have known each other on a cursory level. But what's great is that they are taking advantage of their strengths to help everybody else out. And with that, Mark, Andrew, can I just ask you, I know the two of you have known each other on a cursory level, but how is it that the two of you start to really interact?
Initially, we worked together on the board of Maccabi Victoria, which is a marvelous organisation which involves so many people and with which I've been associated virtually all my life. And we were on a committee to introduce good governance in the area of child protection.
Yes. So that was many years ago now, where Maccabi Victoria took it on, and they've got their now standards in place and Miranda, what's it called? Memorandum or something like that of reporting, which is terrific. And they were one of the first organisations to take that on. So that's how we started. And St Kilda supporters.
Yes.
So okay, there's always a common bond there. We'll run a little plug for St Kilda, that's okay. Even if everybody's not going to agree with that.
Football is the true religion of our community.
Yes.
Okay. But then more recently, can you just touch upon how is it that the two of you started working together again?
Well, I'll probably start here. So many years ago, I used to go to Jewish Care to Gary Smorgan House, and we used to look after a lady called Anne Bernstein, who was 100 years old back then, and used to visit her on a regular basis every week. And then one day I came in and she looked very distressed. And I said, what's the problem? And she said she's been diagnosed with shingles in one of her eyes, and it was like a dagger or a knife in her eye. And Jewish Care would take her in an ambulance down to the Alfred, and she said she just can't go anymore because every time the ambulance went over a bump, it was like someone sticking a knife in her eye. So I thought, okay, what can we do? And I knew Mark, so I gave him a call on the Saturday, and I'll hand it over to you, Mark, how you responded to that.
Well, I'm in the predicament that I can't give details of anybody's particular clinical situation. So I'll hand it back to you just to elaborate, and then I can talk about philosophy of care in the community.
Okay, well, So I gave Mark a call, and without hesitation, this was a Saturday, and without hesitation he said, I'll be over tomorrow. And so as he did, he came down, and from what my recollection is, he went and saw Anne at Gary Smorgan House, and just so happened his surgery was right behind Gary Smorgan House. So he wheeled Anne through the kitchen, I believe, through the kitchen of Gary Smorgan, down the laneway, down the side, into his surgery where he treated her. And all I know is I saw her on the Monday, and she was so happy that we resolved her issue. She was sort of certainly out of pain and very, very, very positive about it. So that was my connection.
Well, it was always a privilege to help people of advanced years, and when somebody's 100 or more, it's an unusual privilege. The philosophy that I've had in my professional life of trying to care for people, I sort of inherited from my father, who was a GP for many years in the community, and he would go out of his way to help people. And there were many instances where people would come to the house and he would greet them with a towel around his waist from the shower and try to deal with their problems. But it's an example of how we live in a community with widespread networks of associations, some closer, some more remote, and it crosses along generations. And there's a lot of goodwill and intention to use whatever skills one has to try to help. That's a big part of the culture of our community. And this is not isolated to the Jewish community. It spreads into the wider community with myriad charities throughout Melbourne, Australian and international communities. But because we live in a village where there are a lot of people know each other, these connections can be made and used and amplified to great effect. And there's so much goodwill that any project that works to link people and connect for these sort of activities with human compassion and energy is a marvelous thing.
And I'd like to just add that people are always asking, what can I do? And I think that one of the things that both of you displayed is the here and the now. Andrew, you heard about the situation from the lady. Mark, you took action the next day. It doesn't have to take years. It doesn't have to take decades. You could do something today. And I think that's a critical point.
Yes, yeah. Well, we've got such a wonderful community, and Mark alluded to a wider community, but specifically I think this we're targeting to the Jewish community here. We've got many charities, but we have so many individuals that are willing to help. They just need to be called upon. So this was a perfect example of how the community just came together straight away. We're all very well networked, like no other, I'd say. So we can make some.
We're not 6 degrees of separation.
No,
we're 1 degree of separation here.
Yeah. Can I put a plug in for a friend of mine, a mentor who also gave me a lot of as a role model for this philosophy, is a man called Harvey Teller. And Harvey took it under himself when he retired to network with the most disadvantaged people in the community. He once had me going down to see a 98-year-old blind man, and there wasn't much that I can do, but Harvey must have brought him to my office 10 times because he just lived in hope that there was something that I could do. I remember seeing him once in his nursing home room where there was no pictures of family. There were a few pictures of scenes from the countryside, but really a forgotten person who was a Holocaust survivor. But Harvey would be there looking after people like this, taking them to medical appointments. So there are inspiring people in our community, and each generation can teach the next generation to develop these philosophies.
Great. Mark, that's very inspirational. In closing, do either of you have any words for the audience?
Get on board. Everyone can do something. Everyone's got skills. Everyone's got a little bit of energy that they can find in their life day to day. It doesn't have to be all day, every day, or every week. But if everybody can do a little bit, it makes a big difference.
Andrew?
Well, from my point of view, part of this video is a chain of videos for the Social Blueprint, and I urge everyone just to go on the Social Blueprint and have a look what is on offering within the community. We have so many events. There's so many organisations that deal on a multiple of issues. So I just urge you to go on the Social Blueprint and have a look.
Yeah, the internet's a very powerful thing, and to harness it for this direction is really a great achievement.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.